So it's a long weekend. I won't be painting tomorrow anyway. So what I'll do is take some of the colors that I have in my palette that will form skins over a day or two. They'll form skins over the piles. And I'm just going to use them for tinting this canvas. What do we have? I have some raw umber sitting here. That'll form a thick skin. Ultramarine blue will as well. Cobalt blue, maybe a bit. Yellow ochre. There's not much there, but I'm going to use it. I'll probably add to that actually. A little bit of burnt sienna. Might be okay. The alizarin crimson will be fine, but I might add that to my tint anyway, just to warm it up and to keep things from getting too dark. So I'm just going to take my little knife and start putting stuff on the canvas. And I'm just going to run my foam brush through it. I get these packages of foam brushes. You know, you can go to Canadian Tire and pay $15, or you can go to a dollar store and pay a couple of dollars for a package of these. Now, most of them are smaller. Most of them are smaller. This one is a little big, so I just took scissors and trimmed the side because I want it to be able to fit in my turpentine dish, and I want enough stiffness to it so that it at least lasts for the duration of just staining the canvas. I guess I should aim the camera up here a little bit better, in a more handier way, so you can see what's going on. Not that you need to. Pretty much everybody knows how to stain a canvas, I would say. I would guess. Alright. Now, in a recent video, I know that I talked about having your folds on the canvas on the side or on the top. Typically, I think I like to hide the folds on the top because we approach a canvas from left to right or right to left. But here's an exception to that. On this side, there is a slight wow, and it's really not detectable when you look at it, looking straight at it. But if I were to have it on the top or on the bottom, you might be able to notice it, certainly if it's on the top. If it's in a frame, you won't notice it, but this is a wraparound canvas. So I prefer, it's a personal thing, but I prefer to have the straightest line on a canvas to be at the very top. And the most crooked, if there is one, well, there always is. I mean, they're never perfect, right? That can be on the bottom. That's why, in this case, the straightest line was this edge. So I've left the straight edges as on the top of the canvas, and the folds on the side, not a problem. It's going to be painted on the sides anyway. So it's not, you know, it's really getting nitpicky when I talk about which size I like the folds on. But there are a few things to consider. Well, there are a few things that I consider when you're making those decisions. Okay, so we're good. That's all the cobalt blue I have. We're going to go towards... Let's just throw a little bit of alizarin crimson in spots. Actually, maybe I'm being kind of dumb, because this alizarin crimson, it'll stay wet for a week. Okay. Stop it. I'll stop that right now then. Let's go to the cobalt blue. I've already established that it's going to be a little lighter and warmer on top and cooling off as we go down, but that's okay. You know, in general, I prefer to have the whole canvas the same, more or less color and value, but hey, if I get carried away and don't manage it, that's fine. the creeks won't rise and the sky won't fall. So, okay, a little more alizarin crimson, just so that it's a bit gradual. We're going to the raw umber there. Let's use up, actually, let's ultramarine blue. Let's just keep that towards the bottom, because why not? Okay, ultramarine blue will dry faster than my cobalt, so we'll bring some ultramarine here and here as well. There, that finishes the ultramarine. Okay, I'm gonna bring a little more, still a little more alizarin crimson down here. The reason that I don't, and again, as with the last time I did a canvas, it started warmer and lighter on top and got cooler and darker on the bottom. But for me, it's not a big problem. I know that sometimes, like in an ideal situation, just for a tinting, I don't want to pre-suggest shapes on a canvas, because it sort of sometimes can lean towards dictating the sort of composition you're going to put on there. For most people, they're copying a scene or they're copying a photograph. For me, it's a little bit different. Most of this comes out of my imagination and my experience. And if things come from a photograph, usually I'm compiling various shapes from a photo, or building an idea and building around it. You know, coming up with an idea and then building around it. So I can escape that a little bit. Lucky for me. What I do want to do though is, I think I mentioned I was going to add a little more yellow ochre to things. Otherwise the entire canvas would get a bit on the dark side for my taste. So we're going to take it out of the tube. Do that right away. Even down here. Okay, I don't have a pile of paint on there, but it might be enough. We can always add if we need to. Now let me just preload my foam brush here with a bit of turpentine. I don't want it full. It's a sponge, so you don't want it full of liquid, or as soon as you touch the canvas it's going to run down. It's going to run down a little bit anyway, but we'll try to minimize it to some degree. Yeah, it's in danger of being a little bit too translucent for me. I don't like just a thin wash typically. I kind of like to have some opacity to it. Yeah, it might be okay. It might be okay. And as I have been doing lately a fair bit, I'll tint the whole canvas, and then I'll make a drawing on it, and then if I wash in the drawing, then I'm washing in over a tint. So a bit of a light tint is not the biggest sin going on then. It's really not. Let me, however, just I do want to do the edge a little bit here. Whoops, caught a blue bit. I want to go around the shoulder of the canvas a little bit, because that way, if the final painting doesn't quite make it to the edges in places, it's not a big deal. Here, let's get that in shape right away. I know that many people, I've seen this suggestion many times, and I tried it, don't like it at all. And that is to take your palette, well in this case my palette is fixed, so I couldn't do it anyway. But I have in the past taken my palette and put it in the freezer, as has been suggested by plenty of folks. And somehow, while it's in the freezer, to keep the paint fresh, so to speak, when I've taken it back out, somehow the texture has changed. It just has a different feel to it. It becomes more syrupy. And I'm not a fan of that. Now, I am aware that when you put something in the freezer for a while, oil paint's not going to freeze solid, not just pure oil paint. But when you take it out of the freezer, those little piles of oil paint will get condensation on them immediately. You take something out of the freezer, bring it into a warm room, you've got condensation on it. So you have to take your palette out before you're going to paint, quite a while before you paint. And then you have to allow the condensation to evaporate off of your paint piles. And then you can dig into it. So, that was not what caused the difference in texture, because I was aware of that a long time before I tried it. But anyway, it was a syrupy feel. It actually felt a little more like acrylic paint. And I'm not a big fan of the feel of acrylic paint. Certainly not if you're going to use a knife. And even aside from that, it doesn't suit my technique very well. Let's see here. Load it up on some oil, or on some turpentine. Oh, excuse me. Again, I'm not doing this, I'm doing this. If I do this, that brush I'm playing with, or this foam brush, will be destroyed before I get to the end of the tint. However, okay, let's go around the shoulder, down the edge, and around the shoulder and across the bottom. Ooh, this is going to be cutting it close. But looks like we're going to make it. Looks like we'll make it after all. Is that from Mary Tyler Moore? The Mary Tyler Moore show? Looks like you'll make it after all? I don't know. Anyway. I'm only 20 years old, so I would never remember that show anyway. We're gonna make it after all. I don't know. Be quiet, Phil. Just shut up. Alright, so done deal. Use a brush with fiber. Well, for one thing, we're almost at the end of this, right? It's a one-use thing. No point in cleaning it. If we use a fibered brush, a brush with hairs, it'll cost more in turpentine or any kind of cleaner that you use than a brush like this is worth. So then you've got the expensive brush, you're cleaning it, which actually sort of traumatizes the bristles, and you end up with a big mess. That's why I use the little foam brushes, whatever this is worth, pennies. Now it's in the garbage, and I don't have to clean anything, I don't have to waste any paint cleaner, paint thinner. And we have a tinted canvas. There's a lot of variation in colors and values here. It's fine. We'll deal with it. If we have to, we'll just ignore those areas. And as I said, I'm probably going to put, once this is dry, I'll put it, next week I'll put a charcoal drying on here. Then I'll likely wash in that charcoal drying, and these colors will maybe completely go or partly stay, doesn't matter. Okay, anyway, I didn't have enough energy to do a drawing tonight, but I did have enough energy to do the stain. See you soon, guys.